Flames leapt skyward. My husband's good friend Vivian was screaming for help in the guest room. I held the dog and watched impassively. In my last life, I had rushed into the inferno to save her and ended up paralyzed in bed, watching with my own eyes as she and my husband rolled into bed together. Reborn, faced with the same choice, I chose to save the trembling golden retriever and left without looking back. Outside the door, my husband shouted at me hoarsely, "You saved the dog but left her inside?" I laughed. "Yeah, she insists on it, what does that have to do with me?" "Ah. Help. Cough cough, help." From the guest room came Vivian's piercing scream. Thick smoke rolled through the air, making it impossible for me to open my eyes. Flames had started at the living room socket and had already licked up onto the sofa, spreading wildly in every direction. The golden retriever trembled with fear, whimpering as it burrowed into my arms. "Nora! Nora, can you hear me? Come save me. The door's jammed, I can't get out." Vivian pounded on the door from the inside. I stood motionless, holding the dog. Scenes from my previous life overlapped with the flames. The same great fire, the same cries for help. Without thinking, I locked the dog on the balcony and dashed into the blaze, finding her half fainted from smoke. I dragged her out, and the overhead cabinet suddenly toppled. My spine was crushed. I spent the rest of my life in a wheelchair. The Vivian I saved wept, saying, "Nora did it all to save me," while fussing over my husband Damien. In the end, the two of them landed in the same bed. I died in endless despair and pain, fading away in gloom. "Nora! Are you dead? Come save me." Vivian's shouts dragged me back from my memories. I looked down at the golden retriever trembling in my arms. Then I laughed. "Save you? On what grounds?" I grabbed the phone and wallet from the entryway cabinet. Clutching my dog, I ran out of the burning house without looking back. Shut the door, go downstairs, all in one go. Behind me the flames grew larger and Vivian's cries gradually faltered. "In this life, why the hell should I care whether you live or die?" Downstairs was already in chaos. Neighbors in their pajamas came running out, staring at the billowing smoke pouring from our floor. "Quick, call 911. Whose place is on fire? This is terrifying." I was holding the dog, standing at the edge of the crowd, and I dialed 911. Then, Damien called. "Hey? Nora, I just got downstairs, what's going on at the house? Why are there so many fire trucks?" His voice sounded frantic. Before I could speak, I saw him leap out of a car and run straight toward me. "Nora. Are you okay?" He grabbed my shoulders and looked me up and down. I shook my head, expressionless. He exhaled in relief, but immediately frowned, his gaze falling on the dog in my arms. "Vivian? Is Vivian at home? Where is she?" I answered calmly, "In the guest room." Damien's face changed in an instant. "She's still in there? Nora. What the hell is wrong with you? You ran out, you brought the dog out, you left her in there alone?" The neighbors around all looked over, pointing and whispering. I met his gaze. "Yes." Damien froze. "You." He trembled with anger, pointing at my nose. "Are you insane? That was a person's life. You saved a dog and threw Vivian into the fire?" I sneered. "Damien, first, the dog was with me, she was somewhere I couldn't reach. Second, the fire started in the living room. Even if the guest room door was jammed, it was the safest place. She won't die. Third, even if she does, that's her life. You." Damien raised his hand. The slap never came down. It wasn't that he had softened, a firefighter burst out carrying someone on a stretcher. It was Vivian. Her face was blackened, a few strands of her hair singed. She lay on the stretcher with her eyes closed, looking barely alive. "Vivian!" Damien roared, immediately abandoning me and lunging forward as if mad. He gripped the edge of the stretcher tightly and cried out to the medical staff. "Doctor! Save her, quick! How is she? Vivian weakly opened her eyes at the right moment. Seeing Damien, tears instantly streamed down her face. Damien. I'm so scared. I thought I'd never see you again. She cried with tears on her cheeks like pear blossoms in rain. I felt pity at the sight. Then her gaze slid past Damien's shoulder and landed on me. It was full of resentment and triumph. Hospital. Vivian lay on the bed, hooked up to N4, her face pale. After examining her, the doctor said she had only inhaled a small amount of dense smoke and, coupled with being overly shocked, there was no serious harm. Damien was as nervous as if she were about to die. One moment he tucked in her blanket corners, the next he poured her water, never leaving her side. Vivian leaned against the headboard, coughing weakly. Damien, don't blame Nora, she must have been terrified too. It's all my fault, I shouldn't have come to stay, I've caused you so much trouble. As she spoke, tears began to fall again. Damien, as expected, was ignited by her words. He glared at me fiercely. I stood at the ward door, perfectly calm. Nora, are you satisfied now? I didn't answer. He came over and grabbed my wrist. I'm talking to you. Aren't you feeling particularly pleased with yourself? Seeing Vivian almost die in there, didn't that make you happy? He was practically spitting in my face. I frowned and wrenched my hand free. Damien, if you're sick, go get help. What eye of yours saw me pleased? I simply made a choice. A choice? He laughed with anger. In your choice, a dog's life matters more than Vivian's? Yes. Damien's breath caught. He looked at me as if seeing me for the first time, with an expression utterly strange to me. Nora, when did you become so cold-blooded and ruthless? Cold-blooded? Damien, have you forgotten why she, Vivian, was sleeping in our guest room in the middle of the night? Isn't she your buddy? Isn't she heartbroken with nowhere to go? Besides, she has a key to our place, did you know about that? Damien's face went rigid. How did she get a key to our place? I pressed. He stammered. I gave it to her, in case something urgent happened, so it would be convenient. Convenient? I cut him off. Convenient to assert your dominance while I'm not here? Convenient to wear my pajamas, use my cup, lie in my bed? On the sickbed, Vivian's face went pale. Nora, you misunderstand, I didn't. Shut up. I snapped loudly. The first time I'd shown such a hard edge in front of her. Vivian flinched at my words. The rims of her eyes instantly reddened. Damien instinctively moved to protect her. Nora. Why are you shouting at her? She's still a patient. Patient? I sneered. My gaze stabbed straight at him. Damien, do you dare say you have nothing to hide? Do you dare say your feelings for her are truly just brotherly affection? His eyes flicked away, he wouldn't look at me. Seeing him guilt-ridden like that, my heart went icy. Enough. Really enough. Damien, let's get a divorce. Divorce? Damien froze for a moment. Then he exploded in anger. Nora, have you had enough of this? Over something so trivial you want a divorce? What do you take marriage for? I watched his furious face. It struck me as both pitiable and ridiculous. A small matter? Almost losing our home and family, and to him that was just a small matter. In your eyes, the boundaries between me and your sister are a small matter. Her having our house key and coming and going as she pleases is a small matter. The house caught fire, and you only cared about her and not me, that's also a small matter. Damien, in your heart, besides Vivian, is there anything else that matters? He was left speechless by my question. His complexion paled and flushed in turns. Seeing the situation turn for the worse, Vivian on the sickbed began her performance again. Nora, don't be like this, it's all my fault, I'm the one at fault. Damien, hurry and apologize to Nora. We'll just keep our distance from now on. she cried as she clutched Damien's sleeve, putting on an air of understanding. Damien indeed fell for it. He took a deep breath and softened his tone. Nora, I know you're angry. This time it's my fault, I shouldn't have let you be wronged. I promise, I'll have Vivian return the key. From now on we will. There's no later. I cut him off coldly. Damien, I'm not negotiating with you, I'm informing you. Tomorrow at 9 in the morning, meet me in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau. If you don't come, I'll file a lawsuit. After saying that, I didn't look at him again and turned to leave. I held my dog and didn't once look back. From behind came Vivian's muffled sobs and Damien's bewildered shouts. Nora! Nora! Come back to me. I ignored them. I walked out of the hospital doors. The cold night wind hit my face. I felt utterly clear-headed. In my past life, it was because of his words, "Don't be ridiculous," that I kept softening. Time and again I relented. Time and again I compromised. In the end, what did I get in return? A lifelong disability, his betrayal, and a tragic death. This time around, I won't make the same mistake. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Damien. Nora, can we calm down? I admit I was wrong. But after all these years together, we can't just end it like that. I looked at the words on the screen and felt nothing but irony. All these years together? His affections had long ago been divided among more than just me. I didn't reply, I blocked him outright. Then I called my lawyer friend. Hey, it's me, Nora. Draft a divorce agreement for me. Yes, division of assets, I'm going to make him leave with nothing. The next day. I didn't go to the civil affairs office. I went straight to the fire station. I needed a fire incident determination report. It was the key evidence for filing for divorce and suing Vivian for damages. A young firefighter received me. He was tall, clad in a blue uniform, broad-shouldered, with clean, well-defined features. Hello, I'm Nora. I'm the owner of Unit 801, Building 12, Tianjue Community, the place from last night. He nodded and drew a file from a stack. Miss Nora, hello. My name is Caleb, one of the officers on duty last night. He gestured to the chair opposite. Please sit. I sat down and got straight to the point. Captain Caleb, I'd like to know the cause of the fire. Caleb's gaze lingered on my face for a moment. The preliminary conclusion is that an old power strip in the southeast corner of the living room short-circuited and ignited the nearby sofa. This outcome matched what I had expected. It was the same in my previous life. But I knew the matter wasn't that simple. Captain Caleb, I said, looking at him. That power strip isn't ours. Caleb's eyebrows lifted slightly. Oh? How are you sure? That spot, we usually only have a humidifier there. Last night when the fire started, it was full of chargers, a curling iron, and a small electric cooker. None of that belongs to me. I was stating the facts. Every time Vivian came over, she arrived as if moving house, bringing a pile of electronic gadgets. And that battered power strip, she'd brought it from the place she rented. Caleb tapped the table thoughtfully. He pulled open a drawer and took out a clear evidence bag. Inside was a power strip burned down to nothing but a charred remnant. We found this while clearing out the sofa remnants. Its level of burning is far more severe than the surrounding items. It fits the characteristics of an ignition point. And, he said, pointing to a blurred logo on the power strip. This brand was forcibly recalled 3 years ago due to quality issues. My heart leapt. Evidence. This was the most direct proof. Captain Caleb, I said, a little excited. This report, can I? Yes. Caleb seemed to see through my thoughts. The draft of the fire incident determination is out. The conclusion is that the power strip was used improperly, which sparked the fire. Whoever owned the power strip bears primary responsibility. I looked at him and said sincerely, thank you. He only gave a faint smile. It's our duty. However. He shifted his tone and looked at me. Miss Nora, forgive me for being frank, but the friend in your guest room is not without serious issues. I froze for a moment. What do you mean? When we rescued her, the door to the guest room wasn't stuck at all. It was only blocked by a towel that had fallen across the gap. Although she screamed pitifully, the carbon monoxide level in the room was nowhere near lethal. I was completely stunned. She was acting the whole time. In my previous life, I never doubted Vivian. All I remember is her hoarse, desperate cries for help and the way she lay unconscious on the floor when I rushed in. Looking back now, it was all full of holes. The fire wasn't really that big, why couldn't she get out? The door was only blocked by a towel, she's an adult, would she lack the strength to push it open? So it was all an act. She just wanted to see me throw myself into the blaze for her, reckless and without thought. She wanted me to die in there. That way, she could rightfully take my place. I clenched my fist. A chill ran through me. Miss Nora? Are you all right? I came to, took a deep breath, and shook my head. I'm fine. Thank you, Captain Caleb. What you told me, it means a lot. I got a copy of the determination letter and left the fire station. Vivian, Damien. In this life, I will make you pay for what you did. I handed the determination letter to my lawyer. Then I began to deal with the house. Although the fire was extinguished in time, the entire living room had been reduced to a ruin and was uninhabitable. I hired a cleaning service to pack up the items that hadn't been destroyed and temporarily store them in a warehouse. After finishing all of this, it was already dark. I checked into a pet-friendly hotel with my dog. I had just finished showering when the doorbell rang. I assumed it was hotel service. I opened the door and saw Damien. He looked haggard, stubbled, his eyes rimmed with red. Nora, we need to talk. I stood blocking the doorway, not intending to let him in. There's nothing to talk about. The divorce papers, my lawyer will send them to you tomorrow. I'm not leaving, he suddenly snapped, reaching out as if to grab me. I stepped back, coolly avoiding him. Damien, don't lose your mind here. I'm not losing my mind, he growled. Nora, do you have to be so heartless? We've been together 10 years, from college until now, 10 years. Do those 10 years count for less than a moment of your anger? He started playing the nostalgia card. Too bad, by now my heart had long since turned to iron. 10 years? I sneered. Yes, 10 years. In those 10 years, you got promoted and I was happy for you. You fell ill and I stayed up all night caring for you. I thought we were each other's only one. But what about you? You enjoy my kindness, and yet you can't let go of your good friend. One phone call from her and you can run out in the middle of the night to drink with her. When she needed to move, you took a day off to help carry boxes. When her computer broke, you were more anxious than she was. You even used the money we had saved to buy a car to get her the latest model. Damien, in these 10 years, ask yourself honestly, have you ever truly treated me right? With every sentence I spoke, his face paled a shade. By the end, his lips trembled and he couldn't say a single word. So don't bring up 10 years with me anymore. I hate being dirty. I said, then reached to close the door. He pressed hard against the door, his eyes bloodshot and full of pleading. Nora, I know I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Give me one more chance, please? I've broken it off with her, I've broken it off cleanly. I'll do whatever you ask, just don't leave me. While we were at an impasse, a familiar figure stepped out of the elevator. It was Vivian. She changed into a pure white dress, put on light makeup, and looked pitiful. She was also carrying a thermos pot. Seeing us, she froze for a moment. Then she put on an expression of being wronged and innocent. Damien. Nora. I heard Nora lives here and was worried she hadn't eaten, so I made some soup and brought it over. Did I come when I shouldn't have? What a blooming white lotus. When Damien saw her, he was taken aback at first. Then his face went as if he'd been caught red-handed. He hastily let go of the hand that had been bracing the door. He instinctively wanted to distance himself from Vivian. "What are you doing here? Who told you to come?" Vivian's eyes instantly reddened. "Damien, don't be like this. I know Nora is mad at me, I just wanted to apologize." She said that and took a step toward me. "Nora, I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Just as her hand was about to touch me, a tall figure suddenly stepped in front of me. "It's Caleb." He didn't know when he had come. Dressed in casual clothes, holding a packed takeout box. He looked at Vivian with an expressionless face, his voice as cold as ice. "Ma'am, please stay away from her. We still haven't settled the matter of the fire." Caleb's appearance left both Damien and Vivian stunned. "Who are you?" Damien frowned, sizing Caleb up with an unfriendly tone. Vivian looked panicked. She instinctively stepped back. Caleb ignored Damien. He turned slightly, lowered his head, and asked me, "Are you all right? Do you want me to call the police?" I shook my head. "I'm fine, thank you." Then I looked at the bewildered Damien and Vivian. "This is Caleb, the fire chief in charge of handling the fire at our house." "A fire?" Damien looked even more confused. "Wasn't the fire already taken care of? All done?" I smiled. "Damien, did you think that was just an accident?" I tilted the phone in my hand. The screen showed the document my lawyer had sent. My lawyer just emailed me the indictment. First defendant, Vivian, charged with negligent arson, sought to compensate for all property damage and emotional distress. Second defendant is you, Damien. Adultery during marriage, concealing marital assets, I want you to leave with nothing." "What?" Damien went pale. "Nora. Are you crazy? When did I ever cheat during our marriage?" Vivian screamed too. "Nora. How can you slander people out of thin air? Damien and I are innocent." "Innocent?" I sneered and kept shaking my phone. "After last night's fire, Damien, the first person you worried about wasn't your wife. It was your good brother you held, wailing and tearing at the sky. What's more, my lawyer saw the whole thing, the two of you clinging and tugging at each other, on the hospital corridor surveillance. Do you want me to show you the footage to help jog your memory?" Damien's face flushed crimson in an instant. He could never have imagined their actions were caught on camera. Vivian was so scared she trembled all over and couldn't utter a single word. As for negligent ignition, I turned to Vivian. "Vivian, the one you brought to my house. A substandard power strip whose production and sale have already been banned. The forensic report shows that was the ignition point of the fire. You dare say that wasn't yours?" Vivian's lips trembled. I don't know. I didn't know that power strip was faulty." "Don't know?" Caleb interjected at the right moment. "You didn't say that when you gave your statement to the fire department. You said you didn't use any external appliances that night." Ms. Vivian, providing false testimony to the fire department and obstructing a fire investigation is a criminal offense. Each sentence struck like a hammer, smashing into Vivian and Damien. Their lies and disguises were torn to shreds in the face of indisputable evidence. Damien looked at me, shock and fury written all over him. "Nora, you set me up?" I smiled. "I only took back what was mine, and made those who did wrong pay the price. That's not setting someone up. That's what they call karma." I ignored them and turned to Caleb. "Let's go. Don't let these two ruin our appetite." Caleb nodded and naturally put himself between me and them as we walked by. As we passed, I heard Vivian's shattered sob and Damien's furious roar. "Nora! You stop right there. You poisonous witch." I didn't look back. Poisonous witch? If reclaiming what's mine makes me a witch, so be it. The Nora who was kind to the point of stupidity died in that fire. The Nora who lives now, There is no longer a word for soft-hearted in her dictionary. In the hotel's dining room, I opened the takeout Caleb had brought. It was from a well-known private kitchen nearby. Light, but very delicate. "How did you end up here?" I asked as I ate. "Passing by," Caleb answered briefly. "Figured I'd drop in to see you." He sat across from me and didn't touch his chopsticks. He just watched me eat in silence. His gaze was calm. Not aggressive at all. Yet it made me a little uneasy. "Aren't you eating?" "I've already eaten." He paused, then added, "You went to my house today." I hesitated for a moment before it registered. The home cleaning company I called to pack my things today was run by his mother. The world is really small. The lady was very kind and gave me a discount. I smiled. "She likes you a lot," Caleb said. "Is that so?" He nodded. "She said she hasn't talked to you in a long time." Only then did I remember. In the past Damien and I did, indeed, often go to the home services company his family ran. Damien was lazy and liked to have people do all the household chores. Even the smallest matters around the house were handled by others. In time we became familiar with Caleb's mother, Marlene. Marlene was a brisk, warm-hearted auntie. She always dragged me into chatting about family matters. It was just that later, Vivian began to show up more and more. Damien started coming up with all kinds of reasons to tell me not to go to that company anymore. Looking back now, it was nothing more than a guilty conscience. By the way, Caleb hesitated for a moment, then continued. "There's something my mom decided I should tell you. The day of the fire she happened to be cleaning in your building unit and went to your place. She saw some things." My heart dropped. "She recorded it on her phone. At first she thought it was nothing, but you should see it now." As he spoke, Caleb took out his phone, pulled up a video, and pushed it toward me. I didn't look right away. Instead I asked him, "Why did she record it?" "She said the guy looked shifty, like he wasn't a good person," Caleb explained. "She was worried about you." I lowered my eyes and looked at the small screen. The footage was a bit shaky, clearly taken surreptitiously. The time was the afternoon the fire broke out. A familiar silhouette appeared at my doorstep. It was Vivian. She deftly used a key to open my door and slipped inside. The door hadn't been properly closed. Like the mistress of the house, she prowled through my home. She picked up the jacket I'd left on the sofa and brought it close to her nose to sniff. Her face was a mix of infatuation and jealousy. She walked over to the dining table and picked up the photo of me and Damien. With her finger, she swiped hard across my face. Then she sat down on the sofa, took out her phone, and dialed a number. "Hello? Mandy. Listen, I'm staying at his place tonight." "Yeah, I'm using heartbreak as my excuse." "That guy? He totally falls for that line." Whatever was said on the other end of the phone, Vivian felt a surge of satisfaction. "His wife? Ha, just a weak, useless fool. Easy to deal with. Don't worry, I'll make sure she disappears. Damien, he'll be mine sooner or later." The video abruptly ended there. Sitting at the dining table, I felt cold all over. It turned out that the fire wasn't an accident at all. It was a murder she had planned for a long time. She intended to burn me to death. In my past life, it was a woman with a heart as venomous as a snake's who destroyed my family and brought me to a tragic end. And Damien, the man who claimed to love me, was an accomplice to it all. It was his repeated indulgence that gave Vivian the audacity to hurt me. It was his repeated foolishness that became the blade Vivian used to harm me. "Nora." Caleb's voice. It pulled me back from the swell of hatred. He had somehow come to my side. "Don't be afraid." I looked up and met his eyes. "Can this video be used as evidence?" "Yes." Caleb nodded. "Although it can't directly prove she set the fire, it's enough to show she had the subjective motive to commit the crime. Combined with the fire investigation report and her giving false testimony, it's sufficient to bring criminal charges against her. I took a deep breath and forced myself to calm down. I understand. Nora, Caleb looked at me and suddenly asked, what do you want to do? What do I want to do? Of course, I want her to go to hell. I want her to taste the agony of being consumed by flames and betrayed by those closest to her. But reason tells me I can't. I will use the law. I will make her pay the heaviest price. I will make her spend the rest of her life behind bars. I want her to go to jail. Caleb nodded, unsurprised. All right. The next few days were calm. Damien and Vivian seemed to have vanished from my world and stopped bothering me. I knew they were only flailing in their death throes. With Caleb's help, I submitted the new evidence to the lawyer. The lawyer told me the outlook was optimistic. Vivian would not only face massive civil damages, but was also likely to be criminally prosecuted for suspected arson and obstruction of official duties. As for Damien, faced with ironclad proof of adultery during marriage and asset transfers, he would walk away with nothing. It was a done deal. I even found that over the years Damien had transferred no less than $500,000 to Vivian. They were all our marital property. Pretty words, lending it to a good brother to start a business. Utterly ridiculous. Everything was unfolding exactly as I had anticipated. I thought I only needed to wait quietly for the day of the hearing. Until that day, I received an unexpected call. It was Damien's mother. Nora, it's me, your mother. Is something wrong? This was the mother-in-law who had always favored her son in my previous life, who nitpicked me at every turn. I felt not the slightest warmth toward her. Nora, can we meet? She pleaded. I'm begging you as a mother. About you and Damien, and about Vivian. Let's talk face to face, okay? I was going to refuse. But then I thought, fine. Some things should be said in person. Let their whole family, if they must die, at least die knowing the truth. Okay. I agreed. Time and place, you choose. We arranged to meet at a tea house. When I arrived, Damien, his parents, and even Vivian were there. Vivian's face was sallow, her eye sockets sunken. Gone was the earlier arrogant, triumphant look. Damien's parents wore worry so deep they seemed 10 years older. Only Damien still wore the same unrepentant expression. When he saw me, his eyes filled with hatred. Nora, you're finally willing to show yourself. The moment Marlene saw me, she tried to reach for my hand. I avoided it. If you've got something to say it straight. Marlene's face looked a little awkward. But she forced a smile. Nora, we're family, aren't there things we can talk out properly instead of dragging them into court? Damien and Vivian, they know they were wrong. Won't you be magnanimous and let them off this time, please? I sneered inwardly. Let them off? When Vivian deliberately set a fire and tried to burn me to death, did she ever think of letting me off? When I was trapped in a wheelchair. When you all despised me. When Damien and she were together right under my nose. Did you ever think of letting me off? Nora? Marlene waved her hand in front of me. Only then did I come back to myself. No. I steadied myself. Wait to be served with a court summons. I said, then stood up to leave. Stop. Damien suddenly shouted, rising to his feet. Nora. Are you trying to drive us to our deaths? Drive you? You did this to yourselves, step by step, leading yourselves to ruin. All right. Fine. Since you won't give me a way out, then we'll all die together. He suddenly drew a fruit knife from behind him. Screams of terror instantly filled the whole tea house. Gripping the blade, he charged at me like a madman. The incident unfolded too fast. Everyone was stunned into silence. Marlene's shriek. Vivian's wails. They mixed together. I watched the knife coming closer and closer, my pupils suddenly contracted. My mind went blank. I instinctively stepped back but tripped over a chair behind me and fell to the ground. It's over. After coming back to life, am I still going to die by his hand? Just as the tip of the knife was about to pierce my body, a dark figure lunged out from the side. Bang! A loud crash. Caleb kicked the knife from Damien's hand. Then, with a neat shoulder throw, he pinned Damien to the ground. It wasn't until Damien let out a muffled groan that the people around reacted. The teahouse security rushed over and flusteredly restrained the still struggling Damien. Caleb strode quickly to my side and helped me up from the floor. Are you all right? Are you hurt? He checked me anxiously, brow furrowed. I shook my head, still shaken. I'm fine. How did you end up here? I was just passing by, he said casually. Passing by again? I was taken aback. But I didn't think much of it. The police arrived quickly. Damien was taken away on the spot for attempted stabbing. His mother wailed and tore at the sky, following the squad car in a disheveled state. And Vivian, from beginning to end, curled up in a corner, trembling. It wasn't until the police called her name and told her to come give a statement that she woke from her stupor and was taken away in tears. Damien's fate came even faster than I had imagined. Because of the attempted stabbing and the severity of the act, he was placed under criminal detention. Vivian, at the station, had her psychological defenses completely collapse and confessed everything. Including how she was jealous of me. How she schemed and plotted to replace me. How she deliberately brought a cheap power strip and caused that fire. Her aim was to disfigure me, or maim me. That way Damien would completely loathe me. And she could, as my lifesaver and caretaker, naturally remain by Damien's side. What a venomous mind. What a meticulous plan. Too bad she miscalculated one thing. In this life, I was reborn. In the end, I didn't attend the court hearing. The lawyer told me the outcome. Damien, convicted of intentional injury and transferring marital assets during the marriage, was sentenced to 3 years in prison. All marital property was awarded entirely to me. Vivian was convicted of arson and false accusation, with multiple sentences merged. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison and ordered to compensate me for all my property damage and for emotional damages, totaling 1.8 million yuan. The dust settled. Hearing the verdict, I felt a profound calm. Those who had hurt me had received their due punishment. The debts of a past life have been fully paid in this one. At last, I can begin a new life.